This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major updates to share with you. I'll give you the latest on the $2,400 Social Security boost, what's happening with that, and Bernie Sanders, who supports that bill, also goes in front of Congress and bashes another bill, basically saying it's a waste of money and that money should go towards other people who are struggling in this country. I will give you that video clip. Also, the latest stimulus checks coming out in the South and gas rebate checks, which states are considering it, which states are doing it. And I'll give you an inflation report from the Republican perspective and a few other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers, and I will pick the winners tomorrow, so you still have some time left if you haven't signed up already and you're interested in a $200 check. Details down in the description below. So, CHIP funding bill clears key Senate hurdle. So, yesterday, this big Senate bill had another vote in the Senate. It's basically another vote before the big vote. They voted 64 to 32 to advance the roughly $280 billion package to boost funding for domestic chip production, a priority for the Biden administration and companies like Intel and IBM. So looks like this bill is probably going to go through, and it seems that some people are still not for it. We have Republicans and Bernie Sanders who are not for this bill. Main reason is because it's giving billions of dollars. For example, $20 billion to Intel alone. Meanwhile, they're making billions of dollars in profit per year, and they ship their jobs across the country. At least that's what Bernie Sanders says. Take a look more of what Bernie Sanders has to say about it.
Senator Romney says, join the club. And I agree, we should join the club in terms of higher education. Germany today and other countries around the world make sure that their young people can go to their colleges and universities tuition-free, so that they don't have to leave school $40,000, $50,000, or $100,000 in debt. Let's join the club. Let's do what Germany and other countries are doing, which makes eminent sense in every sense of the word. Let's guarantee the right of all of our kids, regardless of their income, to get a higher education. Let's join the club. And there's another club that I think we might want to join among many others. We are the only major country, virtually the only country on earth, that does not guarantee paid family and medical leave. There are women today in the United States of America having a baby, and they will be back at work in a week because they need the income. No guaranteed paid family and medical leave. There are people getting fired today because their kids are sick. They got to make a choice whether they hang on to their job or take care of their sick kids. Let's join the club. Let's do what not only every major country on earth does in terms of guaranteeing paid family and medical, what virtually all countries, including some of the poorest in the world, do. But I gather problem is that to join those clubs in terms of universal health care, in terms of paid family and medical leave, in terms of free tuition at public colleges and universities, we're going to have to take on powerful special interests, and they make campaign contributions. So that's not what the Senate does. But when it comes to joining the club with other countries giving blank checks to large corporations, that's a club that unfortunately many of my colleagues here feel comfortable in joining.
What are your thoughts there? Do you agree or disagree with Bernie Sanders? Brings up some pretty good points there. Also, speaking of Bernie Sanders, Social Security bill backed by Bernie Sanders could give seniors an extra $2,400 a year in payments. So this bill would increase the Social Security bill monthly payment by $200 per month more. So that would equal 200 times 12 months, $2,400. So this is the Social Security Expansion Act. And at this time, this bill is just sitting idle in Congress. The bill would raise Social Security taxes on Americans making over $250,000 annually, which Sanders and DeFazio said would not affect roughly 93% of taxpayers. So I guess it's taxing the top 7% of the country. That's how it would pay for it, to give $200 more per month. Where is it at right now? So this was introduced last month, and it's just sitting idle like almost everything else in Congress, moving at snail's pace. So I'll keep you updated if there's any more movement or action on that. When it comes to gas stimulus check, is your state considering a gas rebate? So to get to which states are doing what, California had a proposal which was going to give up to $400 per vehicle, capped at 2 vehicles per person at $800, but instead their gas rebate, well, I guess it's more of like a tax rebate, but they're getting basically a $350 check, which could be $700 for couples and $1,050 if there is a dependent as well. So that's California. And then North Carolina, in late May, state Senate Democrats in North Carolina introduced a bill that would provide a gas tax rebate of $200. These rebates would go to all North Carolina residents over the age of 18. This proposal was put forth 2 months ago and doesn't have a clear path to becoming law. So it seems like the gas stimulus checks or gas rebate checks are starting to lose their steam, especially with gas prices going down. So it doesn't seem likely. We have Chicago giving out $50 in transit cards and $150 in gas cards. That's still going through in Chicago. And then those are basically the only two states, one city that's going on. And then it talks about all the different gas tax holiday states. For example, Maryland, Georgia, Connecticut, New York, and Florida, which are basically taking a certain percentage of tax off of it. Could be anywhere from like 25 cents off per gallon up to 38 cents per gallon. So that's the latest in terms of gas stimulus checks. Probably going to see it fizzle out because gas prices are going down, and it's harder to sell gas stimulus checks when gas prices are going down. When it comes to other stimulus checks going on. So stimulus check from South Carolina, who will get it and how much and when. So this is my state. I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and basically, where is it? Okay, the amount of the stimulus check from South Carolina will equal the taxpayer's 2021 income tax liability up to $700 under the tax cut legislation adopted by lawmakers. However, the maximum amount could stretch to $800 if the state is left with more money after all returns are filed by October 17th deadline. Taxpayers can refer to line 15 of their state income tax return to know how much they paid in state income taxes. So it looks like it could be up to $800 in South Carolina after filing taxes, which is the way to have eligibility and access to this. Similar to applying, you have to take action with a lot of these stimulus checks. Otherwise, you would have no idea that it's coming your way. Next, when it comes to the recession fears and what's going on in inflation, top Federal Reserve officials say they misread inflation and now plan to correct the course. But is it too late? The prices for goods in the U.S. are expected to continue rising through 2023. The Federal Reserve waited too long to respond to early signals of inflation, according to independent economists and outside policymakers, and the central bank is correcting the course by raising its interest rate targets at fastest pace in more than 2 decades. So I guess they know that they were wrong and now they're trying to fix it, but is it too late? Could this have been fixed a lot easier earlier? Take a look at this video clip right here, giving an inflation report from the Republican perspective.
A lot of people have been comparing this president to Jimmy Carter, dealing with inflation and a slowing economy. But the more accurate description, at least, might be in terms of expectations and trying to sell people on the notion that things aren't that bad. George Bush Sr., not in a disparaging way, but the irony was for the former president, he was looking at an economy that was indeed turning around in the final months of his presidential run. Unfortunately, it was appreciated too little and too late, and Bill Clinton came into office. That was then. Is this the same thing that is happening now, with a president who insists that the numbers are good and going to get better, and one who said the same thing a generation ago? Let's go to Karl Rove, the former White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Fox News contributor, best-selling author. Are we reliving that? A president who's trying to show people, look, it's not as bad as it looks or it feels. He was technically right, President Bush, at the time, but there's always a delay effect for voters, and the delay cost him that election.
Well, you're right that it's similar in that the president is saying things are improving or things are getting better. The difference is they were, as you point out, actually getting better in 1992. They aren't necessarily getting better now. And the president, not only that, is seen as basically fundamentally ineffective. Think about this. Biden's policies on inflation. This is from the Fox, excuse me, from a CNBC poll. 12% were saying his policies on inflation were helping. 30% said they're hurting, and 51% saying no difference. So the two negatives, hurting and no difference, are 81% of the sample. That ain't a good place to be if you're the sitting president of the United States. And look, these numbers are getting worse, not better. Both the economic numbers, inflation is rising. Talk about. Remember, we were told how transitory it was going to be. This is just a passing phase. So his credibility in saying now, oh, we're not going to find ourselves in a recession, a little strained. That's why on the overall economy, it's at 31% approved. He's losing about a quarter of all Democrats on that issue, and 68% disapprove. And on inflation, 25-73, he's losing almost a solid plurality of Democrats. And it's colored for the future. Excellent. Your forward expectations. 17% say they think the economy is excellent or good. And 84% say it's only fair or poor. Now, I know that adds up to 101, but that's rounding errors. I mean, rounding up. But you know, that's a terrible place to be. And what are they doing to change those perceptions and to look like they're solidly on track? They can't.
You know, so then it comes back to when you tell people, even if, let's say you're technically accurate, that we might dodge a recession, that the number that comes out on Thursday might be mildly positive, thereby missing the two back-to-back quarter contraction that would classically define a recession. But if people feel it and are saying it, and consumer sentiment numbers are multi-decade lows, and Walmart is indicating the shopper's clearly pinched and is ratcheting down its own numbers, does it actually tick off voters when they hear that?
I think it does. And remember, the voters are first and foremost concerned about something that they're having interaction with virtually every day. When they go to the grocery, when they go to the store, when they go to the gas pump, they're paying significantly higher prices than they were paying a year ago or 2 years ago. That's what's driving the main angst in this economy. It's not, is the economy growing? Sure, they work in businesses. They know their challenges, supply chain challenges, their recovery from COVID, you know, getting the right equipment and the right things to get things done, finding enough good workers. They get that. But the thing that is driving this number more than anything else is the feeling that the prices they're paying at the pump, at the grocery store, at the department store are growing beyond their ability to catch up. And we see this in the numbers. We have a recession underway. It's a wage recession where the wages of Americans are not keeping up at all with the costs that they're paying on every single day that they happen to buy something or try and buy something.
What are your thoughts there? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I want to tell you the one thing that you can do to yourself. Be kind, be smart, and also you have to be kind to your mommy, your daddy, or your brother, or sister, or anything that you want. And also you have to be kind to yourself.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your time, all of your support. Don't forget about the $200 checks. I'm picking the winners tomorrow. Details of how you could sign up for that down in the description below. And if you like how I get straight to the point, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And if you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you can click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.